just for fun. So I've been here my whole life, I ain't seen them hit once.
Today, we're going to be doing another black rifle review.
Ooh.
It's going to be just like all the other ones. Finally, it's time to talk about the BCM. But before we get into it, we need to thank the biggest supporters of the channel. Number one biggest supporter is us, so go check out Basement Operator. Basement Operator is our apparel line, and it's where you can find builds, you can find our merch, you can find all of our affiliate stuff, and it's also where you can find the other supporters of the channel.
It's free.
It's free too. The next thing's next, of course, we have to thank Velocity. So Velocity is one of the biggest supporters of the channel, funding the Freedom Seats for us. So go check them out. We really appreciate them a lot. Finally, Core Essentials. We need to give a big shout out to Core Essentials. We run their belts all the time, and they're also a supporter of the channel. We've had their belts for 2 or 3 years now and run them pretty consistently. The little rail system in it that allows you to really lock it down. So big shout out to Core. This BCM is a hodgepodge of BCM parts. As many BCM rifles are, you can't really find them very often just like buying out the door. BCM's very much a parts company. They sell a lot of uppers, they sell lowers, they sell, charging handles and, little stocks. And I mean,
everything.
Yeah, they're everything. They're very similar in terms of arrow precision. You don't see a lot of just arrow rifles off the shelf, but you see a ton of arrow parts. And I feel like BCM's a lot of the same way. So this BCM rifle was parted together, and big shout out to 801 Weapon Works. He helped us with this. So we got a BCM upper receiver, and this is the MCMR15 model. That just stands for the handguard system that is used. And then it is a BCM lower receiver with a Mod 0 stock, and then BCM charging handle, or no, not BCM charging handle, Raptor Radian charging handle, and a BCM bolt carrier group. So altogether, this build will run you about $1,300, which is a great price for a BCM, especially considering other models that are pushing into the market, like the Stag Tactical that's running $1,400-ish now new, PSA Saber, which is about $1,100 to $1,000 new.
So this is right there with all of them.
Yeah, it's right there in the running for like a really good, well-built rifle.
Like a higher end budget.
We're not like diminishing BCM. BCM has a fantastic reputation, held by through tons of reviews on the internet, tons of exactly, and it's one of those rifles that a lot of people hold as the gold standard, and we're just now getting our hands on it and getting the chance to use it and learn about it and kind of function and feel with it. So Sparky, you want to do a little shooting with this thing? Let's see how quickly Sparky can do some build drills.
Oh, Lord have mercy.
So, Sparky, I'll go first since I'm the main personality.
Lack thereof, some would say.
Lack thereof, shut up. So, a build drill, I think, is 5 shots, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh. Anybody counting? Was that 5?
Why would you count? You're the one pulling the base.
All right, let's go check our target. So it looks to be that we got A zone on this one.
Oh yeah. Thought it was farther down here.
Maybe. But I think I got it. Sparky, I don't know if you'll be able to beat that.
It's about, that's half MOA.
First shot was sub-second, and undoubtedly I did that in 2 seconds. And I shot 7 times, so I'm retarded.
So me to shoot 7, just keep it.
Try to count to 5.
I think he was already aiming.
I think he was too.
It was just low ready.
Nah, yeah, low ready on the target. I think you got a few C-zone hits, Sparky. Some improvements I would say, shouldered a little bit better.
Can I do it again?
We can both do it again and see what our scores will be. But I would say it needs a little bit of improvement on your part.
We need to aim up here. Put a face on it, I could probably shoot it.
Yeah, whatever.
I definitely still can't count to 5. He still can't shoot to 5.
I shot 7 that time. Ha! Suck it.
He still can't count to 5.
How many? What was my total time?
172.
172. Yeah, back there it looks like A-zone. Let's see if you can improve on yours a little bit.
I'm just gonna go to 7. It was 4.
What? Can't count. Again, you know, it looks like a lot of C-zone hits for you. You got a few A-zone, but most of them, you know. All right, well, back to the table.
That hurt.
So let's work, what do you say?
Tip the bud.
Tip the bud, as Grantham probably says. And we're going to talk a little bit about all the features and why they did what they did and kind of our thoughts on them. And as we move along, we'll, you know, give the story of the rifle. We'll start at the very front. This one actually came with an A2 flash hider. You know, there's nothing wrong with A2 flash hiders. They're very standard. They're super common.
There's nothing wrong with being average.
Exactly. Well, there is. There's nothing wrong with being basic. Or I guess that's the same as average. Anyway, we run the Dead Air K on it, which is a 30 cal can. So we had to do a swap for the muzzle brake on it. Actually, I swapped it the other day, and it was so easy to break off.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it was one of the easiest. It was one of the easiest brake changes I think I've ever done in my whole entire life. Because you know, sometimes you go in there and you're ready for just a.
Yeah, you gotta really.
Well, this one, I was like prepping myself on the vise, and I was like. Whoosh, straight down into it. So we swapped that, you know, ran it suppressed for the majority of the time we've been shooting it. Moving back on the rifle, we come to our first stop, which is our knockoff PEC 15. This is the Somo gear. We're still going through testing on it. We've had it for probably 3 or 4 months now at this point. Yeah. Shot it on the Saber, shot it on the BCM, and we actually just melted the pressure pad for it when we were actually testing this. We put the pressure pad right above the gas block, and
got hot quick.
It got hot, and we cracked it. You know, the review might be coming out on that soon-ish. I'm not 100% sure. We're getting some new night vision in on the channel, and we'll hopefully be using it there too. But so far, I mean, the actual module's been fine. We also run a Streamlight Pro Tac on it. We're big fans of Streamlight. They work. They're very good. They come with a pressure pad, and they're very functional. All this is mounted on the BCM 15-inch handguard. Okay, so this is BCM's very renowned for their handguards. They make really nice stuff. This is, as I had mentioned, the MCMR15. It's got, you know, a nice little lock on it. No shift and rotation. We've probably shot 300 to 400 rounds through it so far. We're not like T-Rex arms and we can't blow through 5,000 rounds on one rifle. It's just not.
But so far it's doing what it's supposed to do.
Yeah, so far it's doing what it's supposed to do.
And you got a lot of options with the M-Lock on it.
This is one of those that allows for M-Lock portions, well, yeah, around the whole entire thing.
Not just, you know,
not just on one side or the other. PSA was like that. I like that a lot, especially when mounting some lights like the HRT light. I mounted it down here for the class that we took. Did great. So I'm really a big fan of having the M-Lock.
All the way around.
All the way around. I think it does a great.
Just gives you so many options.
So after we talk about the rail, let's kind of dive into the barrel and that great stuff. So it is a 16-inch rifle, chrome lined, phosphate coated barrel. I mean, it's
run of the mill for most.
It's very run of the mill barrel. When I zeroed the aim point on it, I didn't really notice any crazy accuracy. It wasn't like a tack driver by any means. I shot basically pretty much exclusively M193. It's the stuff we can get our hands on, the simplest. It's not very expensive, and you know, that's kind of what we're going with for all of the testing and shooting. It's got a mid-length gas system on it, which I think is pretty normal, run of the mill, especially for a 16-inch rifle. The gas system has been perfectly fine. We ran it suppressed, which overgasses rifles.
That one, I wasn't that noticeable.
No, it didn't.
It wasn't very noticeable, unlike
when you
Stag.
No, the PSA's off.
Well, that's true.
The reason the Stag's usually bad is because we're shooting it with a 10-inch suppressor, and it's a lot worse.
It's different, but this one's been better than most.
Exactly. I think it was a lot better with the Sandman than the Squirrel.
Skinwalker.
Skinwalker. It was a lot better with the Sandman than the Saber was, at least in my opinion. That's kind of the gas system on it. It's really nothing standard gas system. Moving back, we have a Handguard and we have a BCM
QD point.
QD point. I don't know why QD points aren't standard on all firearms, but
it'd just be so much easier. Just go ahead and drill that hole for it. But you know, it's an extra 20 bucks.
Yeah,
so
and it says BCM on it, so that means you have to spend the money at BCM to, to get the thing. We have, I always forget the name of this because this is a brand new sling for us. This is a Edgar Sherman. 801 actually put me onto them. He said, try this sling out. Let me know what you think. We're still going through. But I like it. I like it a little bit more than my Magpul because when going through the class, one of the things I noticed the Magpul is really cutting in here
because of how wide it is.
Because of how wide it is. This is a little bit softer nylon, and it's not as bulky, and there's not as much crap on it either. So, moving to the upper receiver, we have a very run-of-the-mill upper receiver and bolt carrier group. There's nothing really to highlight or brag about. Standard upper receiver. We have an 8.T2 mounted on it, and we have a Radian Raptor LT charging handle. Love the Radian stuff. Oh, yes. Big fans of it. Moving to the lower receiver. This is where we get a little bit of variety, not a whole lot. We have a BCM Mod 0 stock on here. I don't think the stock's...
It's all right.
Yeah, there's
not a ton of wobble.
No, it's not really anything to really talk about.
It's better than a standard Magpul, but it's
it's better than the Magpul that the normal one that PSA
the normal Magpul, not the CTR, not the CTRs, but the cheaper Magpuls.
Yeah,
but I like it. It's a little more compact, not a lot of stuff sticking out. I like how when you're attaching your sling on the QD, it's kind of in the stock a little bit here. On a Magpul, it kind of sticks out, and that can kind of catch. I like that. It makes it a little more streamlined.
And it's just a half decent stock. I wouldn't say it's crazy. I'd probably replace it with a CTR.
I probably would. It's a little bit lighter.
Just a little bit lighter, but for functionality, you don't have to.
There's nothing to complain about it. It's just stock.
Nothing to complain about it whatsoever. This has an H buffer system in it, which mitigates a little bit of that recoil. I mean, it's a 5.56.
It's shot like an AR.
Yeah, it's shot like an AR. There's not a lot to it. This has a polished nickel trigger from BCM, and actually, I don't even know where our trigger weight tester is. Felt like a normal trigger.
It felt pretty good.
Yeah, I didn't think.
Didn't feel bad. Didn't feel amazing. It was
Yeah,
it's better than most.
Better than most stock triggers.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say it's anything like a Geisley or a CMC. I don't think it was anything like that. It was just
for stock, 6-ish pound trigger, not bad.
Yeah, not bad at all. Moving on to the grip. This is not an A2 grip. This is one of BCM's grips. I like it better than a traditional A2 grip. The A2 grip has the little bump out for the finger in it. This one's not. I think this one has a very good angle.
It's a little steeper.
If you come up to do, your reloads or whatever, it's perfectly fine to mitigate and just feel comfortable in your hand as you're using it. One thing I didn't mention, and I've kind of gotten away from it, they did put a little QD point at the end plate. I'm not running too many 1-point slings anymore in my shooting life.
But you could, if you didn't want to run it here, you can run it there, and it just gives you the option.
Yeah, options, baby.
Yeah,
except for on the rail, they make you buy the M-Lock part.
You just gotta move that.
Yeah, but whatever. Yeah. Anyway, so that's the gist of the rifle. I think it comes pretty much ready to go for the vast majority of people. Like I said, if you're running a suppressor, you might want to do a swap on that for the break. But for the biggest, I guess, influx of people, you could buy an upper, get whatever charging handle you want, and then a lower, and pretty much clip them together, and you're
ready to rock and roll.
Ready to rock and roll for that $1,300 to $1,400, and you get a reputable brand. You get a reliable rifle, and you get something that you don't really have to change a lot on.
No, because it's gonna come ready to go. I mean, obviously you can add stuff to it depending on what you're gonna do with it. If you're gonna make a recce rifle or a GPR, or something like that, or you can just leave it plain Jane with an optic and just plink with it. So it's a good option to just build off of.
And you know, nobody's going to stick their nose up at you if that's something you worry about, because you know, being Gucci on the range is the most important. You know, that's why we're rocking, you know, Glocks and basement operator gear.
That's right. Glock.
Yeah, exactly. Let's talk about why this rifle, or why not this rifle.
Yeah.
You know, there's a lot to be said for $1,100 to a $1,500 rifle. Why would somebody pick this over a cheaper model? Let's say like a $900 Saber.
I would say, like, so with it being a BCM, it's, you know, that higher end, just above budget rifle. I mean, like I said, it's up there with the Saber. If you were worried about brand, reputable brand, which PSA is a decent brand.
They're really pushing it.
They're pushing it, but people do complain about quality control.
A lot.
Yeah, a lot.
And you know, the more rifles they put out, you know, we've even had issues with PSA.
Yeah,
and
but they're good to take care of it. But if you want a rifle that might have less quality control issues across the board, and this is a rifle you could work with. Like if you were buying this for your job,
yeah, like
this is one that I wouldn't be afraid to pick up. Like if that was sitting next to a Saber, I would probably just pick BCM.
And not worry about the $500.
No.
I tend to agree. You know, if you're looking for something to work with, you know, you're law enforcement, you're doing some sort of
security work
or some sort of tactical, you know, job of some sort. You know, I hate to say it, but brand does
somewhat matter.
I won't go and say just like shield that brand means everything. You know, if you go out there and you buy,
it's got to be a Geisley.
Yeah. And I wouldn't say that if you went and bought a Saber and, you know, you spent a lot of time with it and you got very comfortable with it, that's
true. That $500 you would save on buying the Saber could buy your optic, could buy you some accessories, and buy some ammo.
And the thing is, with a lot of the PSA stuff, I've never had an issue after I bought it. So like, we had the issue with the trigger when we got it, but that was like a QC or quality control issue. Yeah. It wasn't a bad parts issue. Moving on from that, what would you say to something even more expensive? Like, so say like the Mark 12 in the back.
I like this a lot better than the Day on Defense.
Why? Why would you say that?
I think for bang for buck, this is better. You're spending all that money on the name of that Day on Defense, which I don't even like the furniture on the Day on Defense.
Well, you just don't like quad rails.
No, the furniture.
Oh, that furniture. Yeah, that's fair.
So
the Daniel Defense stock does kind of
So this stuff is a little bit more, it's not like plain Jane, but like it's, I don't know, I feel like this is, more people are going to like this compared to that Daniel Defense furniture, which that's a small thing in the grand scheme of things, I guess.
Let's talk about like direct accuracy. The Mark 12, I guess, is a special use case because it is supposed to be like longer range, very accurate. But a lot of the Daniel Defense guns come with cold hammer forged barrels,
which is nice.
And Daniel Defense is known to have, you know, very accurate AR-15. And you know, I took this to the range and I zeroed it with the aim point. I didn't like shoot it for tight type groups, but while I was shooting it just with M193, I didn't notice anything like spectacular out of it.
The average gun guy is not gonna be able to tell the difference between the barrels.
That's true. I guess for the average dude. Yeah.
So I mean, unless you're using it for your job every single day and burning through thousands and thousands and thousands of rounds of ammo, you're not gonna tell the difference in the barrel.
All right.
So it's bang for buck, I'd buy a BCM.
All right. Now let me ask you the hardest question. For the average person, why would you buy this instead of a $600 PSA? Or would you?
I wouldn't. I would say the average person is going to plink it every now and then, have it for home defense, get the PSA. Because the money you're saving, like I said, buys your optic, buys your ammo, buys some mags, heck, can pay for you a basic carbine class.
That's very true.
So like, I would much rather someone save the money, get an actual budget rifle, and spend the money on those, you know, handful of things, than just buy this and then now can't afford to do anything else with it.
I think I would tend to agree because, you know, say this is like that $1,500 price.
That's your max.
Yeah. You know, the $600 PSA, you still have $1,000 to work with. That's $500. Say you wanted to get a
nice optic.
A nice optic, which a nicer optic's $500, you know.
With the mount, yeah.
With the mount. And then you spend another $500 in ammo, or you spend another $200 in ammo and $300 on a course.
I would be much more afraid of that guy.
Person.
Yeah, for the average person. But if this is within your budget for the rifle, by all means, get it. I mean, it's a fantastic rifle, but I would rather someone buy a more budget-focused rifle and have the money to buy nicer quality optics or a trigger or whatever, or like or class ammo. That's a better use of the money, in my opinion, for the average Joe.
So let's wrap it there. If you guys do want to
We don't do that around here.
They just, you guys ruin. So if you guys want to check out this exact build, you can find it over on our website. What do you want to call this build, Sparky? Because we have to have a name for it.
I'll get back to you on that one.
Oh, for heaven's sakes. Hunter.
The workman's gun.
It's not a margarita.
I was thinking about margarita.
Soy ginger shrimp tacos, here we come.
This is the workman's gun. There you go. Buy this and then go buy you a margarita somewhere. See you guys on the next one. Peace. Ah! Hold her up so she don't melt.
Right. Last time I was told to hold her up.